See, that's growth, isn't it? And it's never too late to grow. It's never too late to know more. It's never too late to change your mind and change your life. You see, if you take everything you've understood up to now and you use that as a launching pad into what? Into what can be, you will find that you are diving into an infinite sea. Okay. An infinite sea of possibility. An infinite sea of self-greatness. With God, all things are possible, we're told. Not some things, all things. Everybody affirm with me. I now know my consciousness until there are no words for the experience. Think about that. Say with me again. I now know my consciousness until there are no words for the experience. See, that's really becoming still, isn't it? Be still and know. This morning I want each of you to enlarge your understanding. Every time you walk into my class or any class we teach here, when you walk in here on Wednesday night, everyone here who is involved in teaching wants you to do what? To enlarge your understanding, to revise your self-definition and self-esteem, and update your awareness. When was the last time you updated your awareness? See, that's an interesting challenge, isn't it? How many have let what you thought you knew get in the way of what you can know? Okay. At that point, you need to do what? Everybody say, update my awareness. You see, there's a lot of people, and you know this, there's a lot of people who are walking around in a negative trance. They're just walking around, and that's the way it is, and it's Washington's fault, and and they began to run their list of why they're unhappy and why they're afraid and why they're alone and why they're broke and why they can't get work and why they can't do that and why and you ask them, tell me something wonderful. I have to think about that. Okay. Well, why not think about that? Okay. Everyone say, wherever I am is the starting point of where I can be. Now, these people that are walking around in a negative trance, they do it until they wake up from it. In other words, they will become aware that they have not been aware. How many of you had that experience? Where you become aware that you haven't been aware? Oh, okay. You wake up to a greater idea of you. Now, that's fine. But what it means is, if you're walking around in a walking trance in this thing called life, you need to understand something. Now, where do we go for the understanding? Just go to the greatest thinkers that have ever lived on planet Earth. Isn't that what Ernest Holmes did? That's where the whole Science of Mind textbook came from. It is a correlation of the greatest minds that have ever existed in this thing called life. Listen to what Galileo said. You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him find it within himself. Now, how old is that? Okay. So there's a lot of people who put that on their wall, but they wouldn't pay attention to it. Okay. Truth is not truth, as Bobby so beautifully said in her opening treatment, unless it leads you to you. I read recently about a woman who has 6 children, 35 grandchildren, 75 great-grandchildren, 10 great-great-grandchildren, and this woman just jumped from an airplane to celebrate her 93rd birthday. Now, I got news for you. Give her a hand. I love it. Anyhow, everybody say with me, she knows how to think big. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know how to think big? How many are ready to think bigger than some nonsense that's in your life right now? How many are ready to think, this wonderful class, this thing that Cynthia's doing on Sunday afternoon, if you haven't come to it, and men are invited to this thing too, and it's a love offering only, so come to it and find out what you're doing. Women, food, God. Well, how many have read the book? What's it saying? Think bigger than your nonsense. Okay? Which may mean thinking smaller with your body. But that's okay. Now this woman, everyone say, I am now a positive attractor factor. Okay. How many know that your conscience is attracting everything you have in your life? So why not be a positive attractor factor? Okay. Be a positive attractor factor. Think like a positive attractor factor. Give like a positive attractor factor. Everyone say, I am now a positive attractor factor in action. Now our mental model, okay, everybody has a model, okay, and let me tell you, your world looks like your model of what? Yourself, okay. How many know that most of what you hear is not what's being said, it's what you think they're saying? That what you're experiencing is not what is really happening, it's what you think is happening. Okay. You see, our challenge is to know. I've used this in class because it always stayed with me. When I was growing up, when I was in grade school, on the way to grade school, walking to grade school, there was a little place where you could shop, in a little grocery store. And in the grocery store, there was a picture on the wall, and this picture was just black and white montage. Okay. And every time I'd go in there, they would tell me there was a Jersey cow in that picture. And I'd look at it, and I couldn't see the Jersey cow. Until one day I walked in to get something, and as I'm walking by, I caught it out of the corner of my eye. There was the Jersey cow. I turned, and there it was in the picture. You ever see one of those pictures? Okay. And you know what? I could never go in there and not see it again. I tried to not see it again, and I couldn't. And this is what we teach in religious science. If you really see anything in a clear way, you cannot go back and accept vague explanations of it, including yourself. How many have heard positive statements when you come here on Sunday and you walk out of here still accepting a vague explanation? Get over it. Get higher than that. Think big. Think something healthier and happier. This church would not be here if I did not have the idea of this church in my consciousness when I arrived here in 1975.